A WWE star just announced their retirement plans. Also, we got to talk about it. Brock Lesnar, major plans. And yes, an NBA star who we are all familiar with in WWE. So much more right here on The Ango Show. If you guys want more videos like this, don't forget to click that subscribe button, ring that bell. This way you never miss a video on the channel. I'm going to keep you guys updated along the way every single day with whatever's happening in professional wrestling. And just a quick note, we are getting closer to 100K subscribers. But if you guys could help speed it along, I would be very happy about that. Let's talk about Tyrese Halliburton. We've seen him in WWE's video games. You guys know Tyrese Halliburton. You know, man, this guy is obviously a lifelong WWE fan. He's spoken publicly in interviews, not really having an interest in going and doing anything with AEW, not even really talking about people in AEW. This guy is a WWE mark through and through. But he actually recently did an interview, and he said in this interview with Stephanie McMahon on her podcast that he has been trying to get physically involved in WWE for quite some time. And the reason why it has not been done is because Triple H and WWE feel as if the NBA will not allow this happen. So it's a very interesting thing for a variety of reasons, because it is probably true. You know, the NBA has a players union. There is a lot of risk if Tyrese Halliburton were to go in WWE and have a match or something. This guy, he would obviously be screwed. The Pacers would not be happy with him. There's a lot of reasons as to why it makes sense that he's not allowed to do it. But one thing that I do have to say is I truly admire Tyrese Halliburton and his passion for WWE and professional wrestling. And I love the fact that even when he is on WWE TV, he is one of those celebrities that actually shows up and he truly embraces it. Even the stuff that they did with him and Jalen Brunson, I know a lot of wrestling fans weren't too fond of that, but that is something that you have to kind of give him credit for, because I do think to a certain extent, like, this is the way it should be, right? Like, you should have celebrities enter and have celebrities come through, but you should embrace the ones that truly love what this business is. You should embrace the ones that truly care about the product. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton, every time he shows up, there's just this level of excitement. And it's kind of cool to see that, to be honest. I think I'm just so used to the idea of celebrities being a really, really bad thing for professional wrestling. And then, you know, you got Logan Paul and Bad Bunny and Tyrese Halliburton and some of these guys that you see on programming. Dude, they just love it. Stephen Amell was one who I also really favored. I think that's a good thing. I do think there will come a point in time where Tyrese Halliburton does get involved in a WWE match. Maybe you do something with him as special guest referee. I don't know. He says he wants to jump off the top rope and land on like 10 people. So this guy definitely has a knack for wrestling, which is really dope. That brings us to our next topic, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about it. Brock Lesnar. There's some major WWE plans for him, and there was a new report. For those who thought that Brock Lesnar would be going away after this whole thing with John Cena, that doesn't appear to be the plan at all. WrestlePalooza was obviously a big deal. A lot of people voiced their opinions on Brock Lesnar, especially in a situation where he squashed John Cena. That was a really big deal. But WWE's creative team is working under the assumption that he is going to be available moving forward. Now, this came from a new report from WrestleVotes, and on WrestleVotes Radio, they did make mention that Brock Lesnar is planned for the Royal Rumble. He is planned for WrestleMania 42, and they are going to continue working with Brock Lesnar. So for those who are concerned, maybe because of the Janelle Grant lawsuit or whatever it may be, clearly WWE does not have any sort of confusion here. WWE knows exactly what they're going to be doing. WWE is just going to be moving forward with the intent of using him. And of course, that could be somewhat of a controversial decision. However, I don't know how to feel about this, because WWE's lawyers, TKO's lawyers, are the ones who have to genuinely make that decision of saying, hey, he is cleared, he can return to WWE programming. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. And I've always believed that you are innocent until proven guilty and that kind of thing. And there's just so much information. And by the way, there's a lot of misinformation out there. It does get kind of confusing, and it does kind of become difficult to truly understand what has actually been done. But with WWE, you know, WWE right now, it is very clear in this era of how they're doing things, you know, Triple H being at the White House and stuff like that. Like WWE at this point, I feel like in a way they are kind of against this whole cancel culture movement that we have seen throughout the past few years. And everybody has a different opinion of what cancel culture is. But with WWE moving forward with Brock Lesnar for the big time events, I think WWE at this point genuinely is kind of just moving forward. They're marching forward, and I don't think you're going to see them react and pull Brock Lesnar away. And one thing that I will say too, in 2025, I've seen a lot of people talk about boycotting WWE because of Brock being back, but these people are still tweeting about WWE and still watching WWE. So how much of the outrage is legitimate? And I do think that is something that is interesting to note, because there are a lot of people who have been so outspoken, and I'm seeing these accounts pop up on YouTube or on Twitter or TikTok, but then they're still making content talking about it. And I just find that to be a very interesting situation. I've been very vocal about people having fake outrage. And I think maybe there could be some of that here. I think there are people who are also genuinely outraged, and they shouldn't be discounted or discredited. The Brock Lesnar situation is truly a crazy one. So WWE's moving forward. I don't know really what to make of it, but that's the way WWE is going to do things. At this point, I think people are just going to keep watching anyways. And that brings us to our final topic. AJ Styles coming out, publicly revealing his retirement plans. And now we actually have an idea as to what to expect here. This is where things truly get interesting, though. I'm not going to lie to you guys, because AJ Styles, he's the man. One of my favorites. One of the best wrestlers I've ever met in my life. And I have a lot of appreciation and respect for AJ Styles, especially being a TNA guy at heart. It's very hard for me to deny the impact that AJ Styles had on my childhood as a wrestling fan. But he's actually revealed in the Tokyo newspaper or whatever you call it. He did an interview with them, and basically he has some very, very, very big plans to retire next year. And he's been very adamant about it in 2026. And, you know, nothing's guaranteed between WrestleMania and whatever it may be. But he is making it publicly known that he will be retiring next year. And then he also says that he's looking at finding a new role backstage with WWE, likely helping develop stars, which I think makes a lot of sense. Now, the AJ Styles situation is crazy, right? Because he obviously has his dream matches and some of the matches that he wants to do. And, you know, to be able to retire and do some of those matches, it's kind of difficult, right? We've seen people, like, we were all under the impression that Edge was leaving WWE, you know, to retire. And then it comes out that he's going to AEW. It's not really a retirement, right? I don't think we're going to see that with AJ Styles. I think AJ, despite wanting some of those matches, is going to remain in WWE. And then really, I think what we need to acknowledge too is that AJ Styles still being involved in WWE in some formal capacity. I think it's going to be really amazing. And we've seen a lot of TNA legends do that. Bobby Roode is another one who's now working backstage in WWE, and he's doing a lot of great things. So I'm definitely sad to hear that AJ Styles is not going to be wrestling after 2026. I hope they give him a really cool retirement run. I don't know how much faith I have in that, considering John Cena didn't get one that was really that great, but something to definitely think about. AJ Styles is retiring in 2026, and it's kind of sad, man. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ango Show.